whatever it is, wherever you are. All right, so we're gonna need that there, that there. Also have a code window there. I still have some mod setup to do. It looks like I do not currently have this mod locally. And so we're going to be starting, needing to run it. We're going to run it here. All right, remote rename. I always like to do this so that I can keep all the different GitHub users, particularly since we are going to be dealing with pull requests here. And we can probably go ahead and fetch this. I might have to change protocol for this. Sometimes you have trouble, like even though, because I'm not an owner of this repository. Sarkrasi. You have trouble with the, oh no, that's HTTPS. Okay, we're going to need that enabled. Oh, and we're going to have to hack our local copy because that's how it works. I forget what I was using for these. Okay, local file system mod. And all right, so basic behavior. Is we get some of these just random other things. The problem we have is AI compatibility mod. Do we have that? AI mod compatibility framework. Now that's a server mod, interestingly enough. We have to be looking at that to see what it's doing. So this is the repository for it. And work alongside all community AI mods. All right, anyway, what is the problem we're having? Okay, so it's not a UI problem. Let's do something really obvious. I use the sandbox thing often enough. I don't actually to sandbox biome. Okay, well, terrible color selection. Okay, so yeah, I remember one of the things with vanilla tag. Okay, yeah. Oh, well, he's actually moving. So is this only with other AIs? Like with, Keller and such? Well, okay, so they're just sitting around again, but they did move. Maybe there were some other changes in the AI since I worked on this last? Faction mods. Okay, so we've got the AI files, which are all that stuff. Changes to new game. Default AI personalities. Huh. Okay. So it's not just anything that might be already there. It's specific names. I might actually want this at all times. Right, that was just the identifier. Faceline personality tags. Oh, that may have been a total override. I'll have to look at that. Okay, cool. Well, actually, I'm gonna have to reread the whole thing to see if baseline is captured or if I've built that into the mod. Why is this thing having trouble right now? Maybe it's having some trouble with the game running? I guess because it's offset? Okay. Uh, Depends on the definition of active maintenance. Okay. It's like I am updating it and just not going out and trying to... Well, things like Keller are going to be a better experience. You can probably say something about it being very simple now. I guess the big thing I question is why server? Actually, did I have a conversation about this? I tried getting it to work as a client mod and could not. To make it not break when used alongside kitchen. So admittedly, I'm just running locally right now. So it's a slightly simpler case. So what is... So this is the extension. This is overriding things. These were various experimental things we decided not to publish. Okay, so we could throw it into there. We try to grab it, but we're not guaranteed that it's going to exist. Actually, it could be a useful thing just to see if that even does exist. And then there's the load time question. If we're grabbing a baseline and then it's going in and changing the baseline, which version are we going to grab? Hey, Christopher, how's it going? Okay, so this is including all of mine. Absurd is a thing. I need to know... And then, of course... No, that's a normal. We want something like... Yeah. So that actually that indicates we're getting it before. Yeah, I came in with some web development experience, which helped a bit, and it was also a little bit more focused on the local file development pipeline at that point, which is a little bit easier to get into because you had you know, if you got any mod, that they were useful examples of exactly how you set up a directory and things. Oh, and you're doing a little debug log. Okay, yeah, so it does it to all of these. And I don't remember if you can do priorities between client and server. Oh. Do I care about the base names? I guess the compatibility patch would care about the base names. Yeah, I don't think that's going to directly impact me as long as I didn't do something called easy. Okay. Yeah, so without getting into the server versus client stuff. Okay, so observed should still be there, but it will not yet be modified. And I don't think, I don't think the vanilla tag would really hurt this. So there's that. That is baseline. He had done more stuff, though. Build updates, date updates. I still don't understand server. This looks like it's just a white space issue in the editor. Maybe this has, oh, that was a spacing change. That's why that showed up as different. Right, because this is my default. And this was saying, okay, even if we got absurd, an absurd is not, does not have this. Okay, so nothing else here plays with personality tags. But we want all of our modified personalities to have that tag. So might actually put this in the loop where we append that to the tags for each one. That would give you the option to still overload this in one of the personalities, and you'd still end up as vanilla. Oh, which apparently he tried at one point and decided not to do? Oh, I guess, is it possible that they don't have personality tags set at all? Well, no, only if absurd ends up with it not set. All right, so another thing. So this is a particularly weird one. So do they always just get completely stuck? Is that the issue?
Select starting location.
Okay, so they walked again. They're definitely walking towards metal. Yeah. Yeah, so it seems to be that there is no rule. For some reason, they get one initial move order, and then that's it. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that I had identified what the incorrect behavior is, because then you can't test that you've actually fixed it. Okay, so problem. We are extending an object. This is going to be a reference to an array. So what we almost want is something more like, and I don't know if there is something that's effectively set union in the standard JavaScript array. I guess you can do index of. No. Didn't even extend the one I wanted. Shouldn't there be a sidebar on here? Cat entries. There's includes versus index of. I don't know that method offhand. Is that? Undefined is not a function, so that is not in this version of the engine. Well, index of nothing, but it's not an undefined function. Ah. Is that loaded by default? Okay. Well, I mean, index of is fine. Or I guess Lodash would have a union, huh? But I still have to check for existence. Let's see, and if it doesn't exist, then you have to set it. Well, no. If it was absurd for some reason, became something without any personality tag. So we have to check for non-existence. That's probably a separate thing. Okay, so we don't have that. And then would that be union? An array of unique values. Iteree. Comparator. Now this creates a new array anyway, which it could actually solve the doesn't exist problem. Well, assuming that it accepts, well, so we did the OR. Extensions. Spread it in. Yeah. At some wasn't there was some point where I think they added in the Fancy Pants new version they added the spread operator. I have my doubts that that's in this version of it. Syntax error. Admittedly, I don't know if I'm doing that quite right. Well, no, okay, so that's unexpected token as well. Maybe it has to be x equals. Okay. Yeah, unexpected token dot. I don't think there's anything I'd need an answer from you on. And apparently Dissonant had an issue where he couldn't get it to work unless it was a server mod, which I'm not quite sure what that was about. Seems to be working fine for me in its standard setup. All right, we've got unbalanced parentheses or something here. Because we've got it's supposed to be an array. I might do this just for clarity. Oop, extensions. Extend. Yeah, I guess the only thing I could think of is that possibly if you're in a lobby, as a client, maybe it wouldn't show the personality name. I don't think that would really stop anything from working. It would just, it wouldn't show up nice. Yeah. But I mean, that would only be relevant if you were doing like a multiplayer game with AI. So that is a reason. I still don't know that it really has that big of a use case. I mean, this is just kind of like, I noticed that we had these personality things and nobody had done anything with them, so I decided to do something with them. And we do certainly have much better AI mods now that actually get into the underlying rules. All right, so I'm not sure if that did a reload. Yeah. Well, no, you're changing AI rules that have to get executed by the server, so that makes sense. This part, you'd have to have a client portion to it. Or do you mean like the Keller itself? But yeah, all this stuff. This is gonna have to go to the server. Okay, so this is a different one. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is a similar thing, just with probably more thought put behind him. Huh, okay. Yeah, the providing the names to other clients would be the reason to do that. Yeah, server mods are a bit more of a pain to develop, but it's not like I touch it that often. Opening settings. Oh, well, Yeah, I guess some of them could maybe use a tilt on that. This is not looking that much promising yet. Maybe misspelled vanilla. Two matches, but it's not highlighting them for me. uh... Okay. So that did not do what I wanted it to do. Okay, well. No, because it's supposed to be a union of arrays, right? I've obviously misunderstood the documentation here. An array of unique values from all given arrays. Union 2112 is 21. Oh no, it's a multi-argument function. So we don't do array of things. They're doing fancy stuff with arguments. Mm, the problem with push is that I'd have to do a pre-detection, which is where I was looking at like include or index of. Because if you just I need this. If you just push and you've got something like this or the default observed API, you're going to get a whole bunch of things with personality tags, prevents waste, vanilla, 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 vanilla. Because every single iteration of the loop will push it on. Now, I guess you could do this at baseline. I guess I just kind of like the idea of leaving the hook so that something could override personality tags if it wanted to. Not that any of them do. All right. All right, personality tags too, and well, the compatibility mod has now done the baseline, so we can't really test for side effects on that.
Choose landing site.
Hey, they're building stuff. I've forgotten to notice who was who. And then I wasn't expecting to really spend any time tuning on this, so I didn't try to get a setup where I could do speed up, although I don't know if that was ever got converted. Yes, that is what I saw as well. Well, I mean, number one mods are good candidates to be included in the game, so. I mean, I've had to obsolete a few mods that got built in at some point. All right. Without trying to evaluate performance. Although I would have to say, I'm pretty sure I set one of these to the Brad Rush, which, if I recall, was basically all bots. I'm maybe I don't go. I joined in beta. So I don't remember a time before knockout was everywhere. So that's probably the advanced rush one. Yeah, it's building a second bot factory, so that's something. Huh. Well, it must have been earlier versions of beta. But it's like it's so pervasive now. And like and at any point when I was modding on it, that it's kind of amazing that would have gotten that much conversion on it. It'd be interesting to see the version before that. Well, the advanced rush seems to be a little bit too heavy into the advanced here. Trying to do two at once. Uh, yeah, definitely some screwy personalities. Maybe decided to switch factory. I don't know. Anyway, it's easy to get caught up watching this. Ah, yep. Yeah, it's switching over to more bots now. All right. So yeah, that's what I did when I was originally working on these. Start up a little private server and boost it up. Okay, so the main thing is vanilla. We need to do, and then I think server is just a tag switch, really. Oh, okay. Yeah, you used to have to manually launch it to enable that. We could do something with that. Because it's not really an actively researched thing. I mean, this is maintenance, but... Alright, so we've got that. Mod info. So the server also moves folder, and then when you develop, you have to move it back to the client folder. And that becomes a little bit of a pain. Uh... Oh. Oh, maybe it changed some like the timing behavior of some things. Hmm. Ah. Now, in terms of breaking changes, changing mod type is pretty big. But I only know the versioning policy from like libraries. And I guess we should actually double check that this works properly given load timing and whatnot. Uh, could be. Probably this. Oh, and we also had the history viewer. Oh, indeed. Okay, so they exist. Personality tags look good. So here's the funny thing. If making it a server mod kind of fixed it, because it loaded after this one, which changed absurd to have vanilla, so it would have just picked it up from the baseline.
Choose start point.
Uh, well, he mentioned that he had to change the client server to get it to work, but it's like he also changed it to add the vanilla tag, so it's like either way would have done it. And that's just because there's, client mod. I've forgotten how it technically works, but you know, server mods and client mods kind of get added to the list in a certain order. And I don't recall if they do priority between client and server mods, only within client and server mods. I presume it actually does work. Oh, you mean given that it also became a server mod? Yeah, it looked like it should work. I just wanted to make sure I actually understood what was going on. Uh, and I think I verified that the server mod isn't necessary to work. Uh, Judging from this, it looks like the server mods are loading later. Well, this is a different screen now. So the default thing got it, and then he overrode this in baseline, which if baseline was absurd, and for some reason absurd changed, this would have overridden absurd. Somewhat similar, possibly, with this. Oh no, actually, extend is making a new object. So actually, this stage wouldn't be leaky. This could have overwritten any change to observe itself. But other than that, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. So is that... No, that's scroll. Obviously, there's something else I need to enable for sim speed changes. Or it was zoom, anyway. Oh, yeah. Could be. Okay, well, there's decrease. Okay, F12, F11. I guess I have changed them. Anyway. Oh, this is probably... Yeah, this is all highly... it's historical interest, but is no longer necessary. Ah, this is probably new. Oh. Okay, well, I'm not doing it as active development anymore. Those are probably better as other mods. All right, so I'm not... Right. I'm not sure if those are the default settings or if I change those. No, it's keyboard. Actually, the defaults are probably in the code somewhere, right? Or maybe they weren't configured at all. API? Default equals default minus. So that's actually, yes, that is going to be, those are going to be the defaults. Actually, that would be increase and that would be decrease. Oop. Mod info. Okay, I did open it twice. Hmm. I would call this, it's like we do some maintenance, but not actively developed. Now, so this is called patch. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I don't remember where that is in the overall timeline, but yeah, that's pretty it's pretty far back. Yeah. Actually, depending on how it sends it, it might be that it does send the full personality information. Actually, I'm not sure if name is a field or if it's the keys in the array. Anyway, anyone in the lobby, even if the host changes, would then be able to use them. And we had done testing, which seemed to be successful. Oh no, we're still in client. You know what? I did it my own way. But we'll at least thank him. All right. All right. So I normally do publishing from the computer. I've got a bunch of Unixy scripts that do all the zipping and uploading stuff. Alright, so that just needs to get shipped. Other one. Well, and this... Alright, close you... Close you... Close you... This can go back into its no server mod. Do we have... Let's see, connect buttons is pure client. Looks like I have not worked on that one here either. Get remote rename. Ooh, we still had something open. Right, okay, so PA code. Okay, I didn't have that one on. I didn't even have it installed here. And we have to hack the mod info. All right. I apparently had some settings for it, though. If I copy this profile from my other computer. And that's probably like what my laptop had at the time. All right, now the question is, well, I need to know what it looks like to connect to a passworded server, which kind of means I need to be able to start up my own server. So we're missing when reloading physical file system. Oh. Physical file system over memory file system. Yeah. I could see that being an issue if both were active. Maybe if it was opening the zips to examine them. And maybe it would be difficult to identify which ones to activate and deactivate. Okay. Okay, this is not what we wanted. Dedicated server. Hmm. Client command line options, server command line options. It doesn't actually tell us what the recommended command line is. And we already looked at that one. Hosting a local server. Which is on this page, not on the wiki. Okay, so this is standard start a server. Okay, it is down at the bottom. Manually starting a server. Well, then, yeah, I knew there was something like this. Server name, that's for server browser, which isn't going to be super important. And server password. So this, I guess we could go reference it as well, but too far back. There's more. Okay. That's probably the one I had. I see the output directories are a thing. Yeah, local app data. So we might actually want to reference over to that. New. And give us a new window, yes. All right, so right, this is gonna be like what, like D games. All right, I guess I could have made it not necessarily headless, so just so I could easily see when it was running. All right. Localhost should be default port. Oops. Hmm. Did slot 3 never work? Hmm. This one got it okay. Okay, so local servers don't care about passwords. Unless I type out password. Or is that only for the second player to join? Okay, and then that exits it. Server password. Dash dash server password. That's kind of important. It clearly does not reject invalid command line arguments, though. Okay, server password. So did it reject and then figure something was going to restart it? Script requested exit. Server state lobby. Reset exit. Well, is there an option for that? Because these aren't like... They did not put like empty timeout or anything. I guess it's designed to have something restarting it. Okay, so well, we saw it join and we saw it not join. Oh, go to start, yeah. So I guess this having a loop in it would actually be useful. Uh, Okay, that's something else. Mm. No, I actually didn't need that. And you don't have that. That's the danger of loops. Let's not do this for a little bit. System cannot find the file specified. That seems like this path is not quite right. And I just... Nope, that's something else. Of course, it's going to be all the wrong slashes. Planetary Annihilation. Wait. Uber Entertainment, Planetary Annihilation, Launcher. Yet there's no... Yeah, there's no launcher in here. Uber Entertainment, Planetary Annihilation, Launcher, Planetary Annihilation, Stable. And this is not headless, but... All right. All right, let's just close it easy. Okay, it relaunched. Oh, this is sitting here trying to get in. So we did get slightly different behavior from that. Okay, so some of this might be window These messages might be Windows stuff. Just not for not running headless. Port. Oh, this is going to be in the middle of the command. Ah, okay, so that's why it was retrying, because it was like connecting to something and it wasn't there. And then this puts us back to La La Land. Yeah, we broke our command chain, even though this was a comment. It broke the continuity of the command. All right. So we've got something we can just kind of have running. We can do a quick test. What was it? Modeled. Okay, so that is indeed all we need to do. Protected by password prompt. Right, when you're connecting normally. And now the server just kind of quit and exited. So I guess there's something in the server browser that was saying password required. But even then, what if you put in the wrong password? Uh, okay. Okay, so this was just typing in garbage at the password prompt. So let's get retried a few times, then gave up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that definitely. Now, I guess I was probably trying to like short circuit all the loading screen stuff. All that. Oh, one moment. All right. My PC parts are here. So I'm definitely going through some kind of connect screen. All right, so got settings. That's probably the menu fragment. Oh, well, we'd have to catch that somehow, because it's a page reload. Which, are you talking about from connect buttons or from bad password at browser connect? Oh, right. I know. I know that's in the network thing, or maybe that's here in this version. Preserve log upon navigation. All right. Oh, because we're not setting the password now. Connect to game. Login accepted. Oh, I still got a server mod on. Connection disconnected. And it looks like source browser doesn't actually work so good here. Do I still have a... No, I closed that. I think I have... Iteration stable. Well, sort of. Up to game.j... I need to go up to the directory. Main game, maybe? And we were around... Connection disconnected. And then that's like the fail state from app hello. Should retry. Model.fail. But maybe that's just like what the next... Because I think there's something that's like it says the next thing to go to, and the next thing to go to was lobby, but the failure didn't change location. Transit destination. Fail. Connect fail, yeah. Probably race. Oh, yeah, I could see that. All right, but we were able to connect if we just set the password. So now we've confirmed all of that. We know what failure looks like. My specific goal is that I used to do a ton of mods for this game. I don't know how many of them are super popular, but one of them that comes up regularly is connect buttons, which gives people a really easy way to get to custom servers that they're running for themselves or their friends or whatever. And one thing this doesn't currently support, which I guess I don't know if this wasn't a big deal or people were crying, just not their IP address not being known or whatever, is it doesn't support games with passwords, and we found that it's especially ungraceful right now. The other thing I was fixing is I had a mod that did some small variations of AI personalities, and there's another more popular one, which amusingly enough is trying to make AI mods compatible, which it didn't work with. So those personalities kind of broke down when that was in use. That still has to be published, but we've sort of understood what was going on and made the changes. And these are both kind of things that have been around for a while. Just I've been busy trying to get some other projects that had a deadline due to some underlying API changes all wrapped up. So it's like this request came in a while ago, the AI patch came in a while ago, and I just had to have a day where I had time, and I had all of the PA stuff updated ahead of time in case I needed to, well, to make sure I'm running the latest version, and if I need to reference any of the changes. And just all those updates have to be done and set up if I need them. So sometimes it's like, well, so I'm going to sit down and do some code, but I don't have the game updated yet. So it's just taken a while to get here. So yeah, we were past the AI patch. We want to add a thing to the settings page so that you can store a password. We're going to have a note that if you do that, and if a hostile mod somehow got into your system, it'd basically be out there for anybody to see. So it's on you to choose your risks there. But I mean, if there was a hostile mod, it could just observe the. Yeah, we could probably do a password prompt. That would make it support it. So connect to games. Actually, this would probably be what, server browser? Okay, yeah. Has entered password. Try to enter game. For trying to enter a locked game, self.current game selected game locked. So that's what we'd be doing by having a setting ourselves. Get password modal show. Yeah, exactly. Set a password box. Okay. Now there might also be, if it's all generic modal, yeah, exactly. We're fine. We might have to also grab some CSS rules. Now what is my HTML going to look like though? Because this is menu HTML, so I might need a separate thing for this. Class modal fade, aria hidden true, data show equals false. So this is just a div hanging out there. Yeah. I guess that was a reload. Okay, well, that seems to have broken something in there. And also, don't need that anymore. Process binding, click. Ah. So we'll need to update our binding. Or add that binding. Data bind, value private game password. Which actually that seems to exist in this model. Click join with password. So we need that in some form. Has entered password true, and then we go back to try to enter game. So basically this is going to continue on with well, we don't have anything to actually open the password prompt yet. So that is, we're using try to enter game for both of these. We might be able to do something a little different there. We'll see. All right. Static connect buttons. Update game state. Yeah. Navigation items. Yes, I might have to load two templates if it doesn't like hide itself nicely within there. Model.show connect buttons menu. Toggle connect buttons menu. Is it calling out to get game with player? And that's for some reconnect stuff, it looks like. Yep, okay, I guess I didn't system copy it. So what are we doing? Toggle menu, load template, update game state. Oh, are you connected to nav? Click nav. Okay, so that's within the context of that item. So this right now is able to do a synchronous execution. And we are doing this servers.map server. So this is, the nav is itself a closure on server. So I guess we do have something a little bit like enter game. Right, you need to be a function. So that will be our no password required version. And then we will call, we still have to do all the template setup. So that, actually, that is asynchronous. And this thing is setting the password field, so that's taken care of. But we may have to have a stateful thing ourselves. So we've got our servers. Once you go through all of our settings and build that up. Which I guess would technically, we could just record an array index. Although, this is only going to matter for the password dialog. It seems like we're going to have to record like pending connection information somewhere. Because that dialog is going to come back on a completely generic callback. So either we record a observable of a server, which is probably a little bit more versatile. It's not going to work with this. Unless we somehow record a pending function. Okay, then we start doing model stuff. Is it observable? And then until we get a flag set up. And then we have to deal with all of that stuff. We cannot do this as a closure, though. So you're going to have to be able to take server, and you would be to server. So join with password. Well, you've entered password. So attempt to use our saved server information. All right, dialog setup. Set up password modal. That would have to be after we load the template. Private game password. So is that just to make sure that the session stuff exists? Well, it does seem to auto-hide the dialogue. Okay, and this is as bad as before. Interesting that the behavior is different. But maybe I'm short-circuiting something. All right, so that has the process to prompt for a password. What the heck are we doing in settings? API.setting is set. Not host or host equal blank. Oh, right. There's a special thing that says we do localhost if there's nothing set up. I believe that's what that's doing. Connect to host, connect to port. Settings, 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 settings. Default localhost. Settings groups, and then connect button settings groups. Label for each parts. Do we even have... This might not be a clean UI update. So... get password.on. Oh, is it not focused? I mean, I probably just do that automatically. Oh, you're right. So we do that. That's show modal. Or, no, or maybe password is the actual password field. That would make sense. Okay, well. Input password. Now what's BS? Okay, we are not correctly getting that event. Maybe we can't do this. No. Is there a way to spy on all jQuery events? Multiple events. Get all events. Key and element. Index of on. Trigger. I guess extracting the list would work. It would tell us what was bound. Well, these are the bound events, not necessarily the triggered events. Was that this? Did not read property node type of undefined. Oh. Well, it did define as modal. But maybe there's some asynchrony with load template. No. Okay. Defer. Ah. Okay, yeah. So there is a shown. And it is bs.modal. But if this was late, it wouldn't have... it wouldn't have actually gotten bound. Nope. Oh, lodash.defer. Interesting. Guess I'm missing something. Unfortunately, I'm a little rusty on all the stuff that happens here. I don't remember if, like, I don't suppose that load template is like a promise or something. Undefined, doesn't seem to be. All right, so now that that's actually happening when this stuff exists. Okay. So this is an arbitrary value that might be system dependent. Wait, load template is my function. It's not a system thing. Right, I took out that, but that works. All right, settings. For number of buttons. Now we're going to have to compare to some other setting stuff. Where would I have copied it from? App.load template, which isn't defined in this stuff that I did, avoiding some of the base directories because of the translations. App.load template. Well, not got as a load template. Not directly, no. It's probably more of it's just an obvious name for certain operations. That doesn't mean it won't have to change, but it's not copying it won't help me there. Edit main game. No, CD main. Oh, that might cut out the API stuff. I mean, settings in use. Well, I think the setting definitions. Main shared, yeah. So what types do we have? We have select. Well, select on off seems to be how we do booleans. That's a whole bunch of keybinds. Okay, so probably want group. Connect to port 1. Actually, this needs to be default off. And then that's going to be parts. For each parts. Now that might not be switching, because both of these were text before. So we might not have been doing any switching based on type. Okay, well, yeah, that just failed. Unexpected identifier. Well, yeah, and these are our oh so useful error messages. You need a comma for one. Okay, yes, we're going to have to do something to care about the type of this. Which I know is where the base settings get into like a super messy setup. Label 4. Select picker. Ugh. I think we only had a label. Well, there's keybind, label. Can we even switch off of this in this setup? Label text title. Do we have... Well, in order to do stuff, we have to have an element. That's data dot. So that would be type. Okay. Now they're using KO if data type. Oh, you're actually saying if not keybind, do a label. Slider keybind. Maybe it's in a different section for... Oh, maybe there's no straight up... There's certainly not a lot of straight up text in option, slider. Yeah, okay. I don't necessarily have an example to work with there. Now, this in the sub template is a little obnoxious. Huh. Now for the menu, I pulled out an HTML file. For this one, I didn't. Now that would require us doing more asynchronous stuff, and maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know if you care. All right, we still have to make the text thing conditional. But that actually seems to work so far. Not real pretty, because these never really got styled to match the rest of the settings. Okay, it remembers it. Repo and branch translations. Oh, yeah, translations are a whole other animal I've not gotten into. Uh, steps. Actually, server, so we have to pull this stuff out of here. Hmm. And you were a string or blank. So for our purposes, all we care about is you're locked if you equal on. All right, we're able to connect. And we will skip that if the setting is off. So that's you. Right, okay, so that's that. And that comment isn't really correct. I mean, I guess connecting join, okay, that's kind of what it does. Now, what was the problem we had early on? Oops. Okay. First of all, I left some stuff in there. So, is that the last one that doesn't have a port, or is that specific to entry 3? So you don't have a port specified. Oh, but the entry number 1 gets a default port if it doesn't have it, in case it's a local host. Or do all other servers require ports? Oh, no, if host and port and port. You know what, probably. We should really do that. Because that is the default game port. I guess one thing, just to double check. Of course, I forget what it was. Two 20545. That should still be blank. Okay, good. Four, 475. 17? 19. How have we done this? Removed reconnect last. Okay, oh, I guess I just had some leftover stuff. Rename host to hostname IP address. Okay, so that was like breaking feature removal type of thing. This is major, but it shouldn't like break any of your existing connections. Yep. Or like remove a feature or anything. There's this. Oh, it no longer does that. All right. So we've got menu. So this is just lock. But I copied this from base. Not the bang lock. None of this has it there. All right, so connect to looks like it might not. There's the connect to. So we would want to do lock, and I guess what's the difference between lock and bang lock? Okay, so that must be for something else. Or there's an extra step you have to do to do the translations. For settings, conflict label. Dynamically loaded, you need to manually call this lock function. Okay. And then, what about these? Is either sufficient? Or should this really have the bang lock on it as well? Okay, well that wasn't right. So for a string, we used this for this. It's the only place that actually either of those are used here. All right, so that's used for titles. So are those two different systems? The HTML tags for HTML and the bang for JavaScript strings? Okay. Lock, okay. Okay. It's loaded in scope of lock processing. Now, I guess that doesn't cause this little artifact. I'm not completely sure it's actually localizable. Now, the other weird one is settings. We're kind of appending a, well, it's a string. And resume once processed. Okay, so for dynamic stuff, okay, so we copied this. That does lock items text, but not items value. That would kind of make sense. This is doing data bind to lock of that rather than to the thing itself. Do we have... Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of constant text in there. So this might be where we're getting into some of the data stuff. We're going to do like data dot from the looks of things. Also, the actual settings had the bang lock on them, which you might need to look into. Well, we changed title, which means in theory we should be able to do something like that. Although the actual string is number. No, okay, no. That didn't quite work. Was that the thing where that actually defines the end of it? No. Because that's the title of a setting. And these titles use that syntax. Maybe the colon was actually part of the text in that one other thing I saw. Yeah, so these being computed names might be interesting. Or does it do that when there's no localization available for it? Well, what I attempted to do. Yeah, because these are data binds, and that seemed to be what settings HTML was doing. That's that kind of lock. Those are constants. Text lock data. Okay, so some of those were doing the subfield. Lock model settings definition dot title. Oh, well. The weird thing is that these aren't doing an extra function wrapper around it. So I guess that's why I'm curious why it's different. Of course, if I'm running this entire thing through loc, of course, I guess by that front, why can't we do... Now, it's hard to say. If that works. Data bind in a function. Huh. Okay. But yeah, so it's definitely doing the stuff at the binding stage in a lot of the HTML stuff. Although I guess this was kind of like, it's HTML, so we have to do the code sometime. Okay, so anything with lock needs the bang lock. Okay, it does at least remove that. And I guess it might be kind of a stylistic thing. As far as trailing space. Probably better not to have it. Yeah. All right, and then now options text. What is? Oh, okay. So these things are functions. For for some reason, the other stuff we're looking at is not. So actually, title covers all of these. Now that's item. I guess it's just going to be. Or are you going to need to be data again? You probably do need to be data. Oh, but then it's going to do the entire thing with this. So for the calculated field, you kind of do want to do it up there? So that we can get the proper thing. Oh, like the on and off? Yeah, I guess I'm copying it. This was just a copy from the existing code. So I guess the lock should pass over if there's no lock tag. Oh, you know what? This still needs a function though, because these are item. Oh, yeah, that's options and options text. So the values and the text are separate. That's fine. We're not going to run into language issues. Yep. Cows and I guess that would be like start. Oh, well, that's armory. Yeah, so how does the scoping work? Maybe just settings? NUS. NUS units, NUS settings. Okay, so this is untranslated, and then it's always just message. Oops. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I guess maybe we should test all of these. Yeah. Oh. And we also did an assistant settings. They might just now I don't remember how I typed that. This could be the light binding thing again. So we've got start.json. Okay, so it does care. NUS start. There we go. Does care which page it's on. Okay, so I've obviously typoed something here. Connect to has lock. Start.js is taking this and applying lock to the HTML. Is it a different function for going through HTML? Okay. So that would be where we'd either lock is individual string. Okay. So we would have to essentially data bind in the title to do it in a similar fashion. But we've also got the password modal. So if we do that strategy, then we also have to bind in all that stuff. So is this something like, well, localization.js, okay. Localization. Local. Sure. Okay, sure. Lock, okay, so that's in text. Lock update document. Yeah, so it's essentially searching for that in whatever. Oh, this is only a local function, so it's like we can't really call it right now. Okay, so what the heck are we doing? So there's might be a data lock ID, else it's text. There's some other stuff there. I mean, that's what lock is doing. Yeah. But we're applying bindings with model because we're still just doing it within start page. So in order for menu to do that, yeah. But I don't know of any way to do this for a mod. I mean, we're applying the binding just within our fragment, so we could use a different object, but I just wanted to make sure that any other things were available. So we've got connects to, we've got password, join game. Locked game. So I guess you might still use a lock tag. And then you data bind that. Just to have a thing there. I guess you could probably find a parent tag for most of these. Oh. So load HTML is a thing. Used exactly once. Okay, so that's doing an explicit HTTP request. Ah. Well, yeah. I'm wondering, I may have done that. I mean, as much as it can be annoying to have the buttons pop in, I also didn't want to necessarily hold up The start menu loading? I mean, this is going to be a very common screen for people to go to. Yeah. Yeah, it's memory, I guess. Do you even need to be observable? Now, wait a minute. Synchronous and mod load. So how is that going to interact with the coherent GT stuff? Because you were saying something about the synchronous requests had to go away with that? Or at least the interface that we're currently using for it? Not initially? Okay. But this synchronous style of loading you'd expect to stick around? Ah. Okay. Uh, all right, so we've already got the lock tags in there. This gives us a target element. Gives us a URL and it gives us a model. If this was in fact synchronous before binding, we wouldn't actually have to do the apply bindings. So this would become... Actually, am I at a relatively clean stage here? Okay, so we've got you. We put that lock tag in there. So really it's just settings.js so far. Oh, and lock settings. This was actually not necessary or useful. Yeah. Well, that got a little bit more complicated with the dialogue added to it. Okay, that's you. Settings. All right, so we can just revert this now. So this was like load HTML returns text. I mean, I guess for complete parity, we would do like I don't think we need to do that. Load HTML is not defined. I think that sounds like just a typo, yeah. And NUS start.json. Timing might still be a little bit off. Did we get, okay, we did get data binding. I guess the question would be, let's just be my local network, so it's fine. Except it is just off in La La Land. So it does data binding. Am I missing something for lock processing? We can type out a fragment. Immediately invoked function. I mean, putting it in here, it's like none of these are data bindings. They're all constant strings. This is I guess this little wrapper may be a little bit of a leftover from the old structure. Oh, yes. So it's got a scope, but it should be... This should be synchronous with the mod load. And that appeared to be synchronous with this because it didn't consider this done until after it had done that. Although I have forgotten the KO binding timing relative to mod load. I think it was set up beforehand, so that if you change the bindings, it would affect what got bound to the HTML. Outside wrapper. Do you think that can cause a time shift? You see, now you need the model anymore, because they're not doing the binding. Oh, and I left the show in here. We're debugging stuff, so that will have to get cleaned up. Alright, so this doesn't affect you. Okay, just indented. No, you start. So that's not doing it either. Are we even getting our bindings? Okay, so that's not doing any kind of binding. Which is weird because the events do work. Oh, oh, that got undone as we were bouncing around. Okay. Okay, so that will at least work. Ah, okay. That explains it. Okay. All right, so that got us XXXX. It did, which is not something that has a translation. And that actually does have a translation. Mod info. I think that's pretty much. Okay, so we actually already changed some of this stuff. Okay, well, thank goodness for word completion, but also maybe not thank goodness for it. Set up. All right, that will also have to get packaged and pushed elsewhere. And then I'm like way overdue for lunch. So thanks for watching. Thanks to PA and Kitch for hanging out and noticing my mistakes and giving me lots of tips. Let me see if I can find anything to recommend. Or actually, I'm not up on, or I don't closely follow PA anymore. Is there anybody good on right now? Well, anyway, that's what I'm normally on. Didn't see anything else on. Okay. So there's definitely some other developers on. Well, here's something that's visually traversing data structures. That sounds pretty cool. Now, he might be going for lunch break himself pretty soon. Or themselves. But it's still going, seems to be still going right now. For them to say it's cool to hang out. CMD says working on a closure zip viewer. And so visually data structure is always pretty cool. If it looks someplace cool to hang out, someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.